Hello, so this is Fundations lesson unit 1, week 11, day 5. So we're going to go through our letter cards first. Do this together. I, itchy, I. F, fun. C, cat. Y, yellow, y. P, pan, p. U, up, X, fox, x. J, jug, j. H, hat, W, wind, w. T, top, t. M, man, N, nut, n. E, ed, e. B, bat, b. K, kite, k. D, dog, d. R, rat, L, lamp, o. O, octopus, ah. G, game, g. S, snake, s. V, van, v. And A, apple, a. So now we've gone through our large sound cards. Now we're going to go through our standard sound cards, which are these down here. So let's go ahead and get started with that. F, fun, f. L, lamp, o. R, rat, Y, yellow, y. E, ed, e. K, kite, k. X, fox, x. D, dog, d. J, jug, j. P, pan, p. W, wind, w. C, cat, k. I, itchy, I. O, octopus, ah. V, van, v. B, bat, b. H, hat, h. N, nut, n. U, up, A, apple, a. G, game, g. M, man, m. T, top, t. And S, snake, s. So now what you're going to need to do is you're going to need your whiteboard, your marker, and your eraser. And we're going to practice some of our letters. Today we spent some time really going over those letters that have sort of that O at the top of their letter, because a lot of our friends are having a really hard time with those letters. So we're going to start by just talking about the letter O. So when we write the letter O, it starts just below the plane line. And the reason it starts just below the plane line and not right at the plane line is that this way you don't start too far over. If you start just below the plane line, it helps you when you go to do your curve. So you're going to start just below the plane line. You're going to come up and sorry about that. I'm not sure why this is not working currently. Just move this out of the way for just a second. Okay, not sure what's happening here. So I think we're going to change this up, and I will do it on I'll do it on a regular whiteboard for you. So I had my whiteboard here because I showed it to you for math, so I know I have it here. There it is. Okay, so you're going to need your whiteboard, your marker, and your eraser, and you'll notice that mine has pictures on both ends, and I know that yours only has pictures on one end. So that will make some of these things just a smidge bit easier. Okay, so because so many of our friends are having trouble with some of those round letters where we have the round start at the beginning, And then we have other pieces. We spent some time today just talking about those round letters. So one of the things we talked about was we start just below the plane line. And the reason for that is that if you start right at the plane line, you can end up sometimes with your O sort of ending up so that you're kind of in the middle, and then it's hard to make that back down into a G or an A. However, if you start just below the plane line, which is really hard to see here, sorry about that, I'm trying to make this best I can. For some reason, my notebook is not working today. So we start just below that plane line. Then we come up, we bump our head, we curve down and around to the grass line, and curve back up and close it. Okay, that one's not a great O. Let me see if I can do a better one. So again, start just below the plane line, come up, bump your head on the plane line, come down, bump your bottom on the grass line, and close it. Now, what we talked about was that there are several letters that start with this sort of shape at the beginning. Okay, so it's really important that you remember which way to go. It's also important to remember to start just below the plane line and not just above the grass line. Letters don't go from the bottom up, they always go from the top down. So that's a really important piece to remember. Okay, so we're going to practice some O's. And again, start just below the plane line, curve up, bump your head on the plane line, curve down to the grass line, and around, back up, and close it. Okay, and one more. Start just below the plane line, curve up, bump your head, come down, bump your bottom on the grass line, curve up, and close it. Okay, so this is an O octopus ah, O octopus ah, O octopus ah. Now, we're going to transform those O's into something else. And we're going to do that by starting very simply with our O again. You're going to start just below that plane line. You're going to come up, bump your head, curve down and around to the grass line, curve back up, close it, stop. Don't move your marker. Just stop right there. And now we're going to make this into an A. And we do this by just taking our marker and going straight down to the grass line. Okay, so again, watch it again. You make an O, start just below the plane line, go up, bump your head, go down, curve down, bump your bottom, come up, stop right here, don't move your marker, come straight back down for the A. Okay? One more time, start just below the plane line, make that nice big O, around, down to the grass line, around, back up, and close it. Whoops, I forgot to leave my marker there. And then come right straight back down for the A. Okay, so these are A apple as. Okay. Now, the next letter we're going to work on is the G. And the G, again, starts just like an O. Okay, so you're going to start just below that plane line, come up, bump your head on the plane line, come down, bump your bottom on the grass line, curve up and close it. Keep your marker right there. Now, I'm going to have to lift this up just a smidge so you can see. Now, I'm going to take my marker from that point where I closed my O. I'm going to go all the way down to the worm line, and I'm going to give it a hook. Okay? So again, watch again. It's really hard to do this. Watch again. So start just below your plane line, curve up, bump your head, curve down, bump your bottom, curve up, close it, stop, go all the way down to the worm line and give it a hook. Okay, that one's not perfect, but it's okay. Even if your letters aren't perfect, remember, we're just practicing, so it's pretty new to us. So if they're not perfect, don't get discouraged or upset. Just remember that it's all okay and we'll get there, okay? So again, start just below the plane line, curve up, bump your head on the plane line, curve down, bump your bottom on the grass line, curve up and close, then keep your marker there, then go slowly down to the worm line and give it a hook. Sorry about that. So this is a G game go. And again, you'll notice that we started with that very simple O sort of shape first. Okay, and the last letter that we're going to practice today is another one that starts with that O shape again. We're going to start just below that plane line. You're going to come up, curve up, bump your head on the plane line, curve down, bump your bottom on the grass line, curve up and around. And then you're going to stop again here, but this time instead of going back down, you're going to go straight up to the skyline and straight back down to the grass line. Okay, watch again. Start just below the plane line, curve up, bump your head, curve down, bump your bottom, curve up, close, go all the way up to the skyline and all the way back down. Okay, and one more time. Start just below the plane line, curve up, bump your head, curve down, bump your bottom, close it, stop, go all the way up, and come all the way back down. Okay? So we spent a lot of time on these four letters today, just because I'm having a lot of friends who are having a lot of difficulty with that. And I think the biggest thing that I want you to remember, Donna, is that if you start just below that plane line, it will help you in creating those A's and G's and D's. If you start right at the plane line, it will make it very difficult. If you start too far down, it will also make it very difficult to make those letters. But if you start just a little ways down, then it will make making a D, a G, and an A super easy. Now remember, those are all letters that start with a nice big O, and then depending on what the letter is, they either go up to the skyline, down to the grass line, or all the way down to the worm line. Okay? Hopefully that you are having a great time. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I would love to see some of your A's and G's and D's if you get a chance, but if not, that's okay too. I hope you are going to have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you on Monday.